Why do we study history? History is the stories of thousands of years of men and women who have lived. And all those years, all that experience is what we are studying in history. There is so much wisdom to be gained from it. So we have, if we're lucky, 80 years here on this earth, and over that time we can gain quite a bit of experience, become wiser by the year. But if a good student of history is going to benefit from the mistakes and the right actions of men throughout all of human history. And secondly, history it's vital because we're studying our heritage. We need to know where we came from. We live in a great country. Where did it come from? What are the good things that it has to offer, and how did they get passed down to us? First and foremost, history is done through stories. We tell stories in class. We read about stories. We read about these great men throughout the ages. We look at pictures of civilizations, how people used to live, what these men used to look like, dress like. We memorize, or maybe we even sing songs about them, or we recite poems, ballads, which are honoring these great men. So some initial thoughts for how a parent can support their child's history instruction after they come home. So first thing I want to talk about is ask them about what they're learning. Good history instruction includes many, many questions. So first, find out, who are you studying about today? Or who are you studying about right now? Why are you studying this person? What noteworthy thing did they do? What crisis were they dealing with? Or what good did they have to offer? What decisions did this man make when he was in that crisis or in this difficult situation? Was it the right decision? If it was right, why was that the right decision for this time and by this man? Was this man just? Was he good? Was he wise? Why do you think he was wise? Why do you think he was foolish? These sorts of questions will force a child not only to re-engage that material, but he's going to make it more of his own, because when you have to explain a thing, you really truly come to understand it. Second thought, read with your child. History teachers assign a good bit of reading, either from little biographical stories or the textbook. Some textbooks can be a little more difficult to get through, but the stories are still there. There's still a narrative being shared. And oftentimes, if you read these things aloud, it'll become that much more pleasant for the child to learn from it. And it doesn't have to be things that are strictly in the curriculum. Ask your teacher for other resources. Maybe your child is really taken into Athenians living in Greece. So ask for supplementary resources, other biographies of men from that time, and then read those with them. You could also read stories from read them these historical stories before they go to bed. They are, after all, stories. And it doesn't need to be treated as this boring subject which belongs only in the school place. This is a thing which should be done at home as well. So third off, you are history. Your parents, your grandparents, every family has a long history. However much of it you do know, share that with them around the dinner table. Talk about where they came from, where you used to live, what times used to be like not so long ago. Because for them, 10 years ago is a very long time ago, and they don't know anything about it. And for those who perhaps want to know more about their time, Ancestry.com right now has a free 14-day trial where you can go look up who your ancestors were, where they came from, if that history has been lost to you. Fourth off, documentaries. This might be better suited for older groups, but documentaries include lots of pictures, lots of videos, so I think even some younger students can enjoy watching these with their parents. Find things which are supplemental to what they're studying right now so they can bring some extra knowledge into the classroom next time they go in there. And there's so very much out there. Amazon and Netflix have countless documentaries, and they keep producing more because people want to know history. They want to know where they came from, who these people that they once studied were. Libraries also have a lot to offer. You can MelCat a variety of items, and there's so much out there. I can only really recommend trial and error to find out what's good. There are some, Ken Burns, for instance, who's always going to produce quality documentaries, but there are many others out there that I have not tested, and I can't say for sure. So just give them a try. The first 2 episodes are boring as tears. Move on to something else. And fifth, projects. Projects are a great way to bring that history from the classroom into the home. Teachers in classical schools don't spend a lot of time on projects. That's not because they're inherently bad, but you can take something from a history class. Let's say you were studying ancient Rome, and at home say, well, let's build a Colosseum, right? It's a fairly simple structure on the outside. You buy styrofoam, you glue the pieces together, you maybe even paint it if your student is artistically inclined, and you have a little model Colosseum in the house. If for those who are who like drawing or coloring, drawing a soldier. One of my history projects for my sixth graders was always to draw a Roman legionary. And I told them which weapons he had to have, the color of his garments, and the students would either find a version online, trace it out for those who weren't as capable, and then color it in. Other students would try to draw it, freehand, see what they could come up with. And they really enjoy that. So it's a great practical application of history, if that's very practical at all. Chopping wood with an axe. This is, in some sense, living history, at least for most men throughout all of human history. If you have an axe and you trust your child to wield it, you should show, buy some wood, or maybe just go find some wood, find a tree, chop it down, split it into pieces, and then make a fire. That is every man's experience throughout our humanity's existence, even to this day. And this last one might arouse some suspicion, but memorize a speech. I say this because students might not think they want to memorize a speech, but when I was in 7th grade and desirous of being a quiet one sitting in the back corner, I was forced to memorize a speech, and I chose Genghis Khan as the man. I wrote a fake speech for him, and then I delivered it in front of my classmates. And when I got to take on the ethos of this individual and put words in his mouth about the things that he accomplished and the terrible things he did, it was PG rated. It was a great moment for me, and surprising amounts of fun. I still wasn't signing up to give speeches here and there, but it was quite a wonderful thing. So, history at home. Ask them what they learned, read with them, tell them your story, watch documentaries, and find little projects to do, and you'll bring that history to life in the home.